Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy, Libertarian Election Predictions, back at it again with another video. So today, I will be predicting the 2024 Senate elections, and the reason why I picked today is because we all know today was a landmark day, and in terms of our politics, Roe v. Wade is officially overturned after 49 years, and to be honest, how do I feel about it? To be fair, I kind of feel indifferent about it. I feel like personally, like I do not favor abortion, but at the same time I feel like states in very conservative states will like try to jump ship and and basically try to outlaw a total abortion ban. And but I do not favor like total abortion bans. I do favor like limitations on abortion, but I don't believe in like total abortion bans. So I honestly think I have some mixed feelings about it. Like I feel like feels good for in some part, but I feel like it's kind of a bit too far to overturn Roe v. Wade. And we all know in a 5-4 decision with I think the John Roberts I think was the one dissenting conservative. Actually, he's a swing vote, so yeah. But honestly, it's just funny. It's just sad to see how partisan our court has become. To the point that where we call our justices conservative and liberal. I just don't understand. If I was president, I would like appoint nonpartisan judges because only that way it's fair. Anyway, so because of that, obviously this will have a huge national implication. I mean, when I mean by implication, only to the people who really care about it at the end of the day. Anyway, so as I said last video, I also wanted to keep you guys posted on it. So as you guys have seen, this week has been kind of crazy. You know, the Supreme Court kind of struck down New York's concealed carry law. And to be fair to the state of New York, like as a supporter of guns, like guns are I'm okay with it if it's like self defense, but if it's for killing, then like I feel like New York was right in the fact that like you don't always need a gun. Like if you're gonna you got say I need a gun because I want to kill people or I want to rob a bank. I don't understand why you should be allowed to get a gun. And and yeah, so today was my last day of school. I'm finally free of my finals. Speaking of my finals, they went well. I'd say my best final was Spanish. Obviously, I obviously got like a really high 90. Like I got a 96 on my Spanish final. So cheers for me on that. But yeah, that's kind of irrelevant. But it's just a lot of like chaos going on in our political world and even internationally. Like Colombia, I think the nation of Colombia, I think they elected their first leftist president in like a super long time. Like I don't know if like Gustavo Petro is like the first leftist or like the first leftist president or the first leftist in like a very long time. I have no idea. I mean, but it's really interesting and like Colombia how they made history and like Francia Marquez, who was the first Afro-Colombian vice president. So I applaud them for their victory and I hope they definitely make conditions better in Colombia because obviously decades of aristocratic leadership has definitely ruined it in Colombia, and with skyrocketing poverty, it's time for change, and yeah, yeah, and you've also may have heard of like how the Texas GOP wants to secede from the union, which I kind of find that like surprising because legally Texas can't do that, but I don't know what the GOP stand in Texas is thinking that they could secede from the union like that. And like guys, like let me know what you guys think on should Texas secede from the union or not. And I'm thinking most of you, in whether we're conservative or liberal, I would say most of you would say Texas shouldn't secede, and Texas has a responsibility to the country. But honestly, it just completely stupid that they want to they even think of seceding from this country, and it can happen in 2023. I'm not gonna lie, so not lying. There's like like I was like watching some like trusted news reporter in there that and he was talking about it. So yeah, it's been crazy this week in terms of politics, like how the Texas GOP wants to secede, Colombia electing their first leftist president, Roe v. Wade being overturned today, gun and concealed carry laws being struck down yesterday, and me having my final exams this week. I mean, it was crazy. It's been crazy, but I'm finally free, and hopefully we can get. Maybe I can upload twice a day. I don't know, but let's hope my schedule cooperates with me because I'm going to be a little busy this summer. But hey, let's hope my schedule cooperates. And I guess that's besides the point. Let's get into today's video, which is, well, how will the ruling affect the Senate? My opinion, not really much, because abortion really is like not a big issue for like voters right now. I'd say the economy really is gonna drive the midterms. So yeah. So let's get started. Moving on to the state of Washington, I rate that as likely Dem because like the Republican candidate there, Tiffany Smiley, she's actually doing relatively well against Patty Murray, and the only reason why Patty Murray is even relevant is because it's Washington and it's a pretty solid blue state, on the federal level. So yeah, Oregon, that's safe. I mean, Ron Wyden is relatively popular there, so it's gonna be really hard to oust him. California, that's gonna be safe for Padilla, so he's gonna like cruise sail to re-election. However, Alaska will rate that as likely Republican because I mean Kelly Shabaka is a pretty strong contender, but at the same time, what kind of hurts Kelly Shabaka is the fact that you have ranked choice voting. So, like, obviously, you know that the Democratic voters will probably vote really strategically. They'll probably put their guy first and then Lisa Murkowski second because their logic is like, okay, even if my guy can't win, then I'd rather see Murkowski in the Senate than Shabaka because at least Murkowski's more of like a Democrat friendly vote, even though obviously she won't vote Democrat every time, but at least she's more friendly. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's all up to Alaska voters what they want to do with her, whether they want to fire her or keep her in office. But yeah. So moving on to the state of Arizona. Got a text message. Hey, sorry guys, I had to check my phone. So moving on to Arizona. Arizona, I think, is a really tough one to predict because one part you do have the national environment taking up May being a factor, but at the same time you have to look at Kelly as a candidate because sometimes national environments don't always play a big role in the vote in voters. Sometimes it can buck trends too. So like if candidates are incredibly popular despite a wave coming, that could really help them sail. But if you, I've looked at polls and it shows that Mark Kelly's not been not trailed to anyone or even tied with anybody, any one of his Republican challengers. Will it be close? Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, I would say Mark Kelly will hold on to his seat in Arizona. He's not unpopular and he has a record that he can at least prove. So for that, I'm rating Arizona as tilt Democrat. Moving on to the state of Nevada, I would rate that as tilt Republican. As much as Catherine Cortez Masto, even though Nevada typically votes Democrat, but Catherine Cortez Masto is losing against Adam Laxalt. I mean, like swapping leads essentially. But we all know at the end of the day, the national mood will kind of dictate most of these races. Some of these races may not be affected by the national environment. Like safe red states already won't really be affected. But like, it's gonna probably affect swing states. But I mean, but it's just the national environment really has and dictates everything. I sometimes feel like we should vote based on candidate quality, not based off try to get revenge on the other party. It just absolutely makes no sense. Utah, Idaho, they're all safe. North Dakota, South Dakota, they're all safe. Kansas, both of Oklahoma seats. I think Markwayne Mullen will easily become Oklahoma's next U.S. senator. So no doubt in my mind, Iowa will be safe. Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, they'll be safe. I mean, in Missouri, I think there's a populist Democrat running, Lucas Kuntz, and I think if Greitens or Greetens, if you're a Missourian, like populist Missourian, please correct me on this, but is it Eric Greitens or Greetens? But I'll just say Greetens because that's what the most common default is. So like Eric Greitens is like a very controversial candidate. And if you guys have seen, like for hardcore Trump supporters, great, but like for me, he's like a so-so candidate because he can like excite the base, but at the same time, he'll kind of turn off voters too because he released a pretty violent ad on top of that, and I have no idea why he do such a thing, but honestly, it's Missouri at the end of the day, so Missouri's gonna still vote for Greitens. Although maybe if the GOP ran someone else like Vicky Hartzler or Bill Long, I think they'll do better. But Lucas Kunz, we can't underestimate him. He's a pretty good candidate. He's a populist Democrat and something that we almost never really see. So I'd say beware of him, but I still think the Missouri GOP will hold on to his seat. Moving on to the state of Colorado, I'd say Colorado is lean Democrat. Bennett, is he the most popular? No, but and he's kind of boring at times too. But we all know Colorado's a Demo. It's kind of a Democratic state at this point. Like this isn't like 2004 where it was like a lean Republican swing state. Now it's like a Democratic state now. So I think Bennett is still gonna hold on. Maybe like 4 points, 4 or 5 points, but at the end of the day, I don't see the national environment really knocking them off. Plus, the Colorado GOP really doesn't have anyone either. I mean, if there is one, please let me know. Moving on to the state of Illinois. Illinois, that will be likely them. I think Tammy Duckworth is. I'm not sure how she is viewed, but I think she's okay in terms of her approval. And Illinois is a Democratic state. I remember in 2010, like when Mark Kirk was first elected to the Senate. I mean, honestly, that was like a big cherry on the cake, right? But now, unfortunately, we're not in 2010 anymore. We're now, this is 2022. Everything is hyper polarized. Back then, when red states sent sent Democrats to the Senate, and blue states sent Republican senators. I mean, those times are long gone. Now it's 2022. Everyone's like party loyalty and all that. So I can't believe that has taken a root on our politics. But unfortunately, that's how it's said. That's how it has devolved since Obama. And I'd say Obama and Trump really catalyzed that divide. So yeah, you can really blame a lot of both Obama and Trump for catalyzing the divide. Moving on to the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin is going to be a hard one because if it's national environment, yeah, like I'm going to factor in the national environment here. Yes, I'm going to rate Wisconsin as Republican, but at the same time, I feel like Johnson is not a very popular incumbent. A lot of them view Wisconsinites do view him unfavorably, but like if the Democrats could like run a good campaign, maybe they could get within striking distance or even winning. But again, national environment is just too strong for the GOP at the moment. So Wisconsin will probably stay to Ron Johnson, albeit narrowly, because he's not the most popular or strong of an incumbent either. Although he did dispatch Russ Feingold twice, and to me that kind of felt sad that he did, because at least Russ Feingold was someone who fought for the working class. But spade a spade, Ron Johnson managed to win, but he will probably have a tougher time winning because the Democrats do have some good candidates, but again, polls don't really mean anything in 2022. Maybe in 2010 they might have meant something, but now they really don't. So yeah, Indiana, Kentucky, they're going to be safe. I mean, Charles Booker, I think he's a good candidate, but again, we all know Kentucky, it's a red state, deep red. Alabama, Katie Britt actually won her primary on Tuesday night, so Katie Britt, I'd say, will be easily become Alabama's next U.S. senator. Will the Trump base be really happy about it? I don't think a lot of the Trump base would be happy. Maybe a lot of them would hold their nose and vote for her, but although she's not like a very solid pro-Trump senator, but honestly, that's somewhat of a good thing because if you like kowtow to Trump all the time, you're kind of like turn off voters. So you want to kind of run that Glenn Youngkin type of candidates, who can win over suburbanites, who can win over Trump voters and suburban and not piss off suburbanites. Moving on to the state of Florida. Florida is going to be likely Republican at this point. I mean, at this point, Florida is just becoming more and more conservative as the Cubans in South Florida continue to vote more and more Republican. And Marco Rubio is a Cuban himself, so that's going to help him. And the national environment is really going to carry him over like R+7, R+8. And DeSantis, I have him winning by that same margin too. So yeah. Moving on to Georgia. Georgia is interesting because Herschel Walker, he's very popular in Georgia for like winning a championship there. But at the same time, Herschel Walker is having some issues, and right now, lucky for him, they aren't that serious right now. But I feel like they could become really serious, and that could really jeopardize his chances. And sometimes I find like Herschel Walker that is a little disingenuous in what he says and all that. But again, the national environment really is like dictating everything at this moment. So I'd say Georgia as lean Republican. It kind of feels funny how I said Arizona will be tilt Democrat and Georgia is lean Republican, but honestly, Mark Kelly is a more stronger incumbent than Warnock. Although I'm not going to discount Warnock from winning too. I mean, he's a good campaigner, and we all know he's really good at crafting campaign ads and very good at campaigning. So if like Warnock could run a very issue oriented campaign and attack Herschel Walker on all sides, then I think Warnock could still stand a chance of winning. But as of right now, I think Herschel Walker will probably like either get into a runoff or narrowly avoid a runoff. But I think a runoff is probably is possible depending on who's on the ballot and whether a libertarian candidate is strong enough to pull votes from him. South Carolina, Tim Scott, he's not going anywhere. He's safe. And then North Carolina area that is as likely Republican. Polls like initially they were like largely in favor of Bud, and then Terry Beasley started to pick up a little bit. But again, the national environment is really going to take a factor in here, and most of these races are going to be dictated by the national environment. So, I mean, unfortunately, that's what it is. But North Carolina, I'd say Ted Budd is a more stronger candidate. He's like he's not like exactly like Trumpian, but like he's like Trumpian in his rhetoric, and as long as he can like moderate his stances, that way he doesn't turn off suburban voters, I think he'll still win comfortably by 6 to 7% as of right now. Although it could be closer than we expected. Ohio will be likely Republican. Tim Ryan, he's a good candidate. He's running sort of like a Trump Democrat bashing China at every like ad. There's at least there. I've not seen one ad where he doesn't mention China, but I feel like the national environment will recarry him. And Ohio is a really Republican state now. Like you can just see how hard to the right Ohio's rural areas swung. Like in 1996, Democrats are like winning half of Ohio's rural areas now. Democrats are winning zero or at most like two rural counties in Ohio. But I mean, if they're even lucky to win any counties, then now they're not even winning a single county that's rural, so or exurban. So you can really see how Ohio has taken that sharp turn to the right over the last 6 years. Moving on to the state of Maryland. Maryland, I rate that as safe Dem. We all know why. Maryland is solid Dem at the federal level. Connecticut, Vermont, they're all solid Dem. New York, Chuck Schumer's not going to go anywhere. I mean, funny how Chuck Schumer is kind of ineffective in the Senate, but when he campaigns, he's really effective. I just don't know how. Like, God, I don't know how he's so effective when he campaigns. I mean, I guess that's what it is. Every politician's effective at campaigning for themselves, but when it comes push comes to shove, they throw us under the bus. And it's not just Republicans, but even Democrats too. And to be honest, the Democrats do kind of piss me off. Like not because I disagree with them, but I just their inaction really like pisses me off. It's like it's like an inept party. Like like I just don't understand how can they not control inflation. I mean, as someone who did economics in high school, I kind of understand like the supply demand stuff, but I think the feds are really making a huge mistake by increasing interest rates because I feel like interest rates should have been higher pre-pandemic, and then when we actually needed to lower them in the post-pandemic, you kind of see how that's biting us in the back. So, I mean, I feel like Joe Biden should really get a trusted economist on there, if I were president, I would definitely pick an economist to lead the Fed, and then the my economic board, because at least economists, they know what they're doing. They studied these types of things. So yeah. Moving on to New Hampshire, I would say New Hampshire is lean Democrat. I know like it's kind of unpopular, but at the same time, the GOP like they don't really have such a strong field to choose from. Like if Chris Sununu was there, I think it would have been game over and for Hassan. But I feel like Maggie Hassan's still probably going to take New Hampshire. Like the GOP, they're sort of in a disarray. Moving on to Pennsylvania, why did I want to say that for last? Because it's kind of interesting. Because in Pennsylvania, you got two polls, and like Fetterman is leading by 9 and 6 respectively, which is like 7.5 average right now. So that's honestly kind of pretty good for a Democrat who's in a pretty anti-Biden year. I mean, anti-Democrat year. A Democrat leading by 7.5 in a swing state. I mean, again, it's true that I'm not going to trust that poll. I don't know who they interview, whether it's just Democratic voters, but like if a nonpartisan poll was if a nonpartisan poll showed like 9 point lead for Fetterman, and you can see Oz's campaign is definitely not at a good point right now. Although I think the momentum will help him over time, but as of right now, Fetterman I think is a really strong candidate. He's like the Democrat in that he's really cool. Like he doesn't speak like a politician. He's not rehearsed, and honestly, it's really like kind of refreshing to see a candidate like him because while Oz might be able to ride on momentum, I think if Fetterman can make his case to the voters effectively, I'd say Pennsylvania. That's his race to lose. Honestly, at this point, so Pennsylvania, I'll probably rate that as tilt Democrat because even though polls are suggesting he's going to he's leading by 9 and 6 for an average of 7.5. We all know. I think at the end of the day, November the GOP's wave in November will probably be more stronger than it is right now. So I could see Fetterman kind of going down in the polls. Although I feel for Mehmet Oz, but honestly I feel like Mehmet Oz is like a pretty bad candidate because he's not only making a lot of mistakes in the campaign trail, but he's not really like convincing anyone either. Because the thing is, like when you're a celebrity, how can you relate to the working class? Whereas Fetterman was like a mayor of a working class town. He could use that black the incident in 2013 where he kind of pulled a gun on an unarmed black man, but I don't know what the full context is. I was like young back then, but I feel like but that same guy who actually coincidentally who he caught actually endorsed him coincidentally. So I don't know whether it's dramatic irony or change of tune. I think but he's like honestly that's kind of legendary when somebody like stops you and you'd kind of be sour right with them, but like you endorse them for their political runs. So that's my Senate prediction. Republicans will probably get 51 seats. Democrats will get 49. I mean, it's and guys I could if this is purely on the national wave, I could say easily 55-45 GOP. But sometimes you got to take into account that waves don't always. Excuse me, guys. The phone is ringing for some reason. Let me go answer it. Oh, that's just my aunt. So yeah, that's my aunt. Sorry guys for the distraction. I didn't mean that distraction, but yeah, I'm sorry guys for the distraction. I tried my best not to put these, but fortunately I cannot tell when the phone comes. And you guys, that's my Senate prediction 51-49. A lot of this is based on like candidate quality, how they're doing in the polls, and although I don't really overtly trust the polls much, but sometimes you gotta believe them sometimes, and but sometimes states do have tendencies to buck the trend. Like Pennsylvania right now is bucking the trend, and well, I think Mastriano it still has a good chance at winning. I think Oz's chance is like good, but like I think Fetterman is the favorite right now to win. So call it for what you like, but unfortunately, that's really Oz's fault. Like Oz should be like taking full advantage, particularly because Fetterman is having some health issues. But Let God hope and let's pray to God that he recovers quickly. And I think right now Fetterman is like probably the one Democrat, and Fetterman and Warnock are the ones that actually are the only, and McKelly are really the only Democrats I'm really supporting in swing states. But because I'm like a mixed bag. Like I really look at candidate quality. I don't care about party. Like if I think the Republican candidate is good and has good policy, then I'll I'll vote for the GOP. But if the Democratic candidate has good policies and really appeals to me, then I'll vote for the Democrats. So I'm not like a hardcore supporter of either party. I just look at the issues and see which one pertains to me the most. And I think that's what we all should be. We shouldn't be single issue voters. I mean, I'm not suggesting that throw away your beliefs or anything. Like I have my set core of beliefs, but sometimes but to be honest, I kind of look behind my beliefs and see what's really good for my interests. So, and I think that's really how we should be voting in such a heated time. But anyway, guys, it's your decision whether you guys want to back the GOP or want to back the Dems. Right now, I'm split because I won't say I can't say everything was Democrats' fault. There's some things that Democrats can't control, but at the very least could address. So yeah. Anyway, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and but please like, share, and subscribe. My yesterday's video is doing somehow very well. Let me check on my phone how many views I'm getting. Like I think I even got a subscriber based off of that. 116. Wow. 116. It's already been like what 22 hours since I last published it. So thank you guys so much for the support that you guys have been giving me over the last year, and we're growing our channel at a good rate. I mean, I wish my growth could be a little faster, but sorry guys. Oh my fucking god, I don't know who's calling me so much, but it's my aunt again. But unfortunately, my mom is not at home right now. I'll let her know once the video is done. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. If you guys liked it, please like, share, subscribe, and if you guys disagree with any of my predictions, let me know why in the comments down below. And I want to make it abundantly clear. I want you guys to all be respectful to each other because in such a time where our politics are like we're in so much chaos, so much political turmoil. I really want this channel to be a melting pot of politics and where oh my fucking god, guys! I don't know why this is happening. I don't know what's up with that with the BS phone, but I really want this channel to be a melting pot of politics. I really don't want you guys fighting each other, and I feel like you guys should be able to comment down freely, and I will make sure. Oh my god, I'm gonna lift up the phone. Anyway, guys, I'm ending the video here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Libertarian election predictions out.